Welcome back to TV5 News at 9. It's now time for Aging in Style with Vitale Wealth Management. And joining us this morning is our great friend, President and owner, Joe Vitale. Joe, thanks for being here.
You're welcome. Good to see you. Good morning. How are you?
Good to see you, too. Good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. So don't forget to get Joe's newsletter, Financial Vitals. It has all your latest trends and markets and financial news. All you have to do is scan that QR code right there on your screen to get access right now. So let's go ahead and jump straight into our topic today, Joe. So a lot of us will probably live a lot longer than what we would
God
think.
willing, yes.
Yeah, God willing.
Yeah.
So many retirees do okay financially, specifically in the first 10 to 15 years. But many tend to maybe struggle a little bit later, like in their 70s and 80s. So is it a good idea to start drawing on your Social Security as early as age 62? If so, what are the benefits?
You know, it all depends. Every situation is different. Now, if you're a single person and you can wait, you know, you can let it ramp up. But if it's going to hurt your portfolio, you don't know if you want to pull early. So what we do is we do a Social Security maximization strategy, where we'll show the optimal way, but then we take that with their portfolio and then do the next 30-year forecast. Because sometimes if both spouses make a good income, you know, it doesn't make sense at that point to let, I mean, it could be really high, but sometimes if the spouse didn't work, if the other spouse didn't work, you want to make sure that the main breadwinners ramps up, because if one of them passes, they're only going to get the higher of the two. They're not going to get both of the Social Securities. So we look at different variables. You know, I love ramping it up because, yes, it's an 8%, or depending after full retirement age, it does ramp up every year. And that's great, but it's not always the best scenario. I like to look at the numbers. I like to look at their portfolio, what their expenses are, and to see which one makes the most sense. I let them choose, but I also show them, this is what I'm going to suggest and this is why. This is why you should do it this way, this is why you shouldn't do it this way, and let's look at the best strategy. So it's not just, yes, you're going to get the highest amount by waiting till 70, but it's not always the best play.
So is it true that if a retiree does wait until they are 70, they gain 8% more for each year? After
full retirement age, that is correct. Yeah, it's a little under 7%, just over 6% from 62 to full retirement age, but it is 8% from that point on.
And Joe, tell us, what's a good strategy if catch-up contributions are needed?
If you need more money, I mean, you're talking when you go into your 401k or your IRA, you definitely want to make sure you do as much possible, because a lot of it is pre-tax. You want to put as much as possible. I can't believe that people have 401ks with a 3 or 4 or 5 or 6% match from their company. They're not even funding it. They're not even doing it at all. And a lot of times we're looking at, a lot of people do have good 401ks, but they don't have any tax-free money for down the road. So basically afterwards, when you retire, all your money is going to be taxable, which could tax your Social Security as a result. So it's always a good strategy to look at that and say, how much money do we have tax-free for the future? If we don't, let's look at catch-up contributions going into tax-free strategies.
And you know, Joe, with hopefully a lot of us living longer, can you help us factor in or figure out how to factor in healthcare costs with aging and budgets?
Oh my gosh, yeah. The best way is you got a lot of HSAs. A lot of companies will have some HSAs for you, so you can have that money ready for healthcare, which is great. Always very important to have your 3 to 6 month emergency fund, because you know what, we've seen big events, whether it's a house or a car or a big health care need, where you're going to need that money and you don't want to be taxed huge to do that. But also proper planning. With healthcare, one of the biggest healthcare costs that we see is long-term care, whether it's a nursing home or assisted living. If you don't have your documents in order the right way, it could be detrimental to your retirement. Also, there are some really good long-term care hybrids out there that work great, that if you don't use it, it's a great tax-free benefit. So there's living benefits, and then there's long-term care benefits, and then there's death benefits. So it's a great way, it's almost like a trifecta, right? It's the best way to protect your money from long-term health care, eroding I've seen people go through $1 million, which is so unfortunate because they didn't plan.
Yeah. You know, Joe, I love speaking to you because you just always show us that there are options.
Oh my gosh,
you know, there's an answer. You have an answer for almost anything. I love it.
You've been doing it long enough. You gotta find those answers. That's right.
So, Joe, do you suggest estate planning in advance of retirement? If so, what is a good strategy to put into place?
100%. One of the best things is that a lot of people say, well, I don't have to do anything. I can go online and I can do this. You don't have the right documents if that's the case. I mean, yes, you need your power of attorney for financial and then for medical. for hospital, but then for financial. But you have to make sure that the power of attorney has all the right allowances in there. So it has to allow you to do planning. So as we talk, our good friend Carol Thomas is one of the best attorneys around, and she does a great job with her documents, with the trust, with the power of attorney. If you don't protect that house can be sold and paid for health care. You got to protect the house. You got to protect your assets. You got to protect your family. So having the right documents. I mean, I'm 50. I'll be 55 this year.
Oh, nice.
So yes. So I did my documents 5 years ago.
Nice.
So why? Because I have children. You know, I want to make sure that everything bypasses probate, goes as tax efficiently as possible. But heaven forbid if I lose it. I mean, I've seen people get a stroke at my age and they couldn't take care of their finances. Well, now I have everything in order. So I think it's very, very important because nobody's got that crystal ball. We have to make sure we have our documents in order. It doesn't cost much. The nice thing about Carol, too, is when she does her documents, everybody says, oh, we have to redo them. We have to update them and update them. With Carol, her documents are so good you don't have to mess with them.
There you go.
Now, if you do have family situations change and grandkids and different things, you'll update your documents. But she's so good with everything, and it just works out so good. So do them as soon as you possibly can. I'll go one story because I had about a few years ago, one of my clients, 60 years old, I told him, get your documents in order. You know, everything we had bypassed probate beautifully. He passed away. He was in the hospital for a month. He never did anything on his house. And now his daughter comes to me and says, you know what, this is horrible. I got everybody fighting over this house and we can't even sell it because probate's in charge now. He could have had that handled for so little money. And, you know, but you just don't know. He thought he would live forever. So take care of him before it's too late.
Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
That's exactly
what my grandma says.
Oh, that's perfect. I love your grandma. That's awesome.
Well, Joe, as always, we thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yes. All right, so before we go, don't forget to get market updates and more through Joe's newsletter, Financial Vitals. And if you want more information on today's topic, head over to the Aging in Style page on our website, WNEM.com.